to Larry the Alchemist, and welcome to another edition of Heavy Thoughts. This is where I take a moment to share with you some things that I've been thinking of lately. And actually wasn't planning on making this video. I made a couple of other videos. I'm going away for a few days. Made a couple of videos that I can load up on the channel when I'm gone. And as I was sort of packing things up, this thought just came to me, and I want to make a video on it. So this is totally off the cuff. I have been thinking about this a little bit lately. And the topic is bands live and their stage props in stage shows and all the stuff that they have on stage now. And is it really necessary? Is it overkill? Is it too much? It seems like when you go out to see any band anymore, they've got all kinds of stuff on stage. They've got all kinds of stuff going on, fireworks, you know, just all this different stuff happening. And yeah, it's cool and it's entertaining, but it got me thinking, you know, I was watching, I saw a clip on YouTube from Led Zeppelin, The Song Remains the Same movie, which is them at Madison Square Garden. And I was just marveling at how small the stage area was that they were on. I mean, it is tiny. Go and watch it. They're basically on top of each other. Now, this is Madison Square Garden. I'm sure they could have had some kind of massive sprawled out stage if they wanted to. They're basically on top of each other. And on top of that, there's no pyrotechnics, there's no inflatables, you know, other things going on. And in fact, the light show is not really even a light show. I mean, there's colored lights and they're sort of randomly changing, and there's, you know, a spotlight that's on the guys sometimes. But really, it's not really a light show even to speak of. They're just sort of some colored lights randomly changing. It's basically the band just on a rather small stage playing for a really long time. And the people are totally digging it. They're totally eating it up. I was also thinking this when I saw a clip of AC/DC. Well, if you see them in the Let There Be Rock movie, or there's another thing with them around, I think it's like 78 or 79. It's the same thing. It's just them on a not that big of a stage. Now, sometimes bands, you know, there's these AC/DC clips of them at, I think it's called Rock Goes to College or something. And those are sort of like special things, you know, it's the stage is like really small and everything. But I'm talking, these were like full dates on their tour, like that Let There Be Rock movie. They're, you know, playing like an arena in Paris. And this other bootleg video, I should kind of remember where it was from, you know, they're playing a big venue. And there's nothing on the stage. It's just them, their amps. I mean, not really a light show, lights that are just sort of randomly changing colors every now and then in a spotlight. And that's it. And that's what a lot of bands back then, you see videos of Deep Purple, you know, the Made in Japan, when they're, you know, the Budokan. The Budokan is not that big of a stage. All these classic albums recorded there, and you think it's like some big, massive thing. It's not. And so many clips of bands from back then during the 70s, you know, they just got up on stage and they didn't really have anything. Now, there were some bands that didn't do that. Kiss being a perfect example of that. Alice Cooper had a big stage show. You know, there were Blue Oyster Cult had like a laser light show. So there were exceptions to that, but the majority of bands, they just sort of got up on stage and played. And now when you go to see bands, there's just so much stuff going on, inflatables and props and all this different kind of stuff going on. And sometimes it makes me think, like, is this really necessary? And with crazy ticket prices now, I mean, would anybody really complain if Iron Maiden said, hey, you know what? We're doing a stripped down show, just amps, and maybe somebody will come out. Remember the old days, like I talk about that live at the Rainbow Iron Maiden show. That's the first time I saw Iron Maiden. Not live, but the first time I ever heard Iron Maiden was MTV showing that live at the Rainbow show. It's just them on a stage, and when the guy comes out as Eddie, he's just a guy with a mask on and jeans and a t-shirt, you know? I mean, would anybody complain if Iron Maiden said, you know what, we're going to do a tour, it's going to maybe be in slightly smaller venues, but we're going to play multiple days, we're going to play bigger set lists, different songs through the various nights, but it's just going to be us with amps on stage, and that's it. You know, just a a minimal light show. We're just going to go for it. Would anybody complain? Would anybody complain of AC/DC? Does AC/DC really need these goofy inflatables? In some ways, sometimes some of these things, I mean, the cannons are cool, and for those about to rock, the bell for Hell's Bells. Okay, but like inflatables, I never liked inflatables. I always thought that looks silly, like when they do a whole lot of Rosie. And I just think that looks silly. When bands have the backdrops, I think that's pretty cool. Like Iron Maiden has done this, where they'll have the backdrop. Like they do the Trooper, it's the cover of the single with Eddie with the flag and everything, and then they put a different backdrop for whatever, another song that they played, a different album cover, single cover. But the airplane hanging from the ceiling, the lights, the smoke, the fire, the fireworks. Man, I get it. For some bands, when you're playing in a big arena, like I don't have a problem with big screens, because if you're in an arena, it's hard to see. And I guess they feel, I saw Metallica last time I saw them on the Hardwired to Self-Destruct tour. They played a football stadium here, soccer stadium here in Orlando, and they had all kinds of fireworks. And I'm not saying it isn't impressive in everything, and it does keep your attention. And when you're paying this much money for a ticket, I guess you expect there to be fireworks and things exploding and things, all these big spectacle like things. But it just really makes me wonder when I go back and I see these old videos. It's not like Led Zeppelin couldn't have afforded some big production. It even amazes me like they didn't want a bigger stage area. It's incredible how small the stage is. During that The Song Remains the Same video, Madison Square Garden show. But it was the music that carried it. It was about the music. It wasn't about inflatables and explosions and things like that. And I noted some bands like Kiss, that was a big part of the show. But honestly, I see there's that old video of Kiss doing Black Diamond and Rock Bottom. And it's them in like the early makeup. And I don't know what that is. It's a promo video or something. It's just them on stage, and it looks super, super cool. I even think the Kiss could have gotten away with just that simple setup, And then it becomes this thing where some of these bands, I think they feel like every year they got to top what they did the year before. We did a Sabbath Sunday on Dio's Intermission, and Dio, his Sacred Heart tour with the Dragon and everything. And I think Darren even mentioned how that was a little bit silly and everything. But is it really necessary? I don't know. I don't think that it is. I mean, maybe it's because I'm older. I don't care about these things as much anymore. I would be perfectly content with AC/DC just getting up on stage and rocking out. I don't need the whole lot of inflatable Rosie thing. I don't need it. I'm perfectly fine with sitting back and enjoying the music and just watching the band. I'd almost prefer it if they were on sort of a smaller, tighter stage. And when I watch these old videos of these classic bands, Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and stuff, they didn't really matter that they didn't have all this kind of spectacle and everything. So I wonder if in some ways, if maybe some of these bands should return to that, just get back to the music. I don't know, just a heavy thought, something that came to my mind. What do you guys think? What's your opinion on shows? And I admit, for the ticket price, if I'm paying like over $100 for a ticket, I want to see something. But how about reducing the ticket price and just giving me a simpler stage setup? I would be fine with that. How about you guys? What's your thought on that, with where bands have gone with all the spectacle and stuff that you see on stage nowadays? Do you like it, or do you prefer the old stripped back stuff? Go back on YouTube and watch some of the stuff from the 70s. Like I said, Jethro Tull and Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin, and watch their shows and watch how simple it is. They don't even have a lot of amps on stage. Nowadays everybody's got to have like 50 rows of Marshall stacks. I mean, they didn't even have that. They just had their one or two stacks, and that was it. It was about the music, So, all right, let me know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Make sure you check out all my social links, Twitch for my live streams. And until we see you next time, make sure you rock hard, ride free.